Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12.
In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay is expanding its 20 pesos 20 bigas meron na subsidized rice program to prioritize low-income provincial capital employees, including minimum wage earners and job order workers. Office of the Provincial Agriculturist Officer in Charge Daryl John O. Buenconsejo said the rice distribution caravan will be held on June 11 and will initially cover workers under the provincial government of Albay. The initiative is implemented under the directive of Governor Noel E. Rosal together with Provincial Administrator Raul E. Rosal and members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan to provide immediate relief to lower-income government workers. Buenconsejo said around 500 bags of rice have been prepared for the rollout, with 100 bags allocated for the first day of distribution. The provincial government said the program will be expanded across local government units in Albay, with distributions aligned with local events and community gatherings. In other story, the Safe Albay Kalalakihan Sandigan ng Kababaihan at Kabataan Laban sa Karahasan program was conducted on June 6 at the Multipurpose Building Evacuation Center in San Lorenzo, Tabaco City, reinforcing men's role in protecting women and children from violence. The activity followed its initial rollout in Malinao and was led by the provincial government of Albay through the Provincial Council for the Protection of Children and the Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office in partnership with the Albay Police Provincial Office, the City Government of Tabaco, and other stakeholders. Legal experts from the Integrated Bar of the Philippines Albay chapter discussed Republic Act 9262, or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act of 2004, and Republic Act 8353, as amended by Republic Act 11648, or the Anti-Rape Law of 1997, and also provided free legal consultations to participants. The program also included a lecture on positive discipline, focusing on responsible parenting and nonviolent child-rearing approaches. It concluded with the distribution of 5 kilograms of rice per participant, along with vegetable seedlings from the Albay Provincial Agriculture Office. In other news, the provincial government of Albay continued the distribution of social pension for indigent senior citizens in Pulangi on June 8 through the Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office and the Provincial Treasurer's Office. About 1,030 senior citizens from 44 barangays in Pulangi benefited from the payout. Each beneficiary received 3,000, covering the first semester from January to June, equivalent to 500 pesos per month. The Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office said the payouts in other local government units will continue and are expected to be completed before the end of the month. The office added that additional payouts in other municipalities across the 3rd and 1st districts of Albay are scheduled in the coming days. In the national scene, Malacanang said preparations for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s fifth State of the Nation address SONA will be kept simple, with guests encouraged to observe modesty in their attire. House Secretary General Teloy Garofil said no red carpet will be rolled out for the event, while female attendees are being asked to avoid wearing extravagant gowns. Speaking during the first coordination meeting for the SONA, Garofil said organizers are focused on holding a ceremony that is both simple and dignified. She noted that this year's theme of simplicity reflects current times, even as the SONA remains a major occasion for the administration and the public. Held every fourth Monday of July, the SONA serves as the President's annual report to the nation on the country's political, economic, and social conditions. In other story, Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla said authorities are exploring all possible leads to locate Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who is wanted by the International Criminal Court over his role in former President Rodrigo Duterte's anti-drug campaign. Remulla made a statement during a press briefing at Camp Crame, where he also announced the arrest of dismissed police officer Rafael Dumlao, the alleged mastermind in the 2016 killing of South Korean businessman Ji Ik-jo. According to Remulla, Dumlao was arrested in Quezon City after police received information from an informant that he had been staying at a house in Pasong Tamo for the past 3 weeks. He said it is easier for wanted individuals to hide in Metro Manila because residents are less likely to notice strangers compared to people living in the provincial communities. Remulla stressed that the Philippine National Police will continue its operations without favoritism, saying neither Dumlao nor De La Rosa is being protected despite their ties to police institution. In other news, Senate President pro tempore Sherwin Gatchalian said a power-sharing arrangement in the Senate is not being considered, citing the results of June's free session. Speaking on DZRH, Gatchalian said the session clearly identified who was elected Senate President pro tempore and who was designated as acting Senate President. His remarks followed a proposal from an interim arrangement that would allow two officials to jointly approve certain Senate documents and transactions. Gatchalian also said the acting Senate President serves as the presiding officer of the impeachment court in the absence of the Senate President in accordance with Senate rules. He added that the Senate will continue to follow the timeline previously approved in caucus, with the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte set to begin on July 6. And in the news outside the country, nuclear-armed countries increased spending on their atomic arsenals to about $119 billion high last year, with 9 states together adding roughly $17 billion more than the year before, according to a new report by the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. The United States remained by far the biggest spender, putting about $69.2 billion into its nuclear forces in 2025, followed by China at $13.5 billion, the United Kingdom at $12.6 billion, and Russia at $9.5 billion. The report also warned that countries are planning long-term investments in nuclear weapon systems that could last for decades or even into next century, with U.S. spending alone projected to approach $1 trillion over the next 10 years. Campaigners said the rising costs highlight a troubling global priority shift, arguing that the money used for nuclear weapons could instead support urgent humanitarian needs like food security and basic public services. In other story, Tehran's main international airport has reopened, and flights carrying Hajj pilgrims from Saudi Arabia have begun landing again. An official at Imam Khamenei International Airport said services and pilgrims flights have resumed, according to Iranian media. The airport had stopped all incoming flights on Sunday after Iranian missile strikes on Israel, which were followed by Israeli retaliation. This shutdown is the latest disruption for the airport, which had only recently reopened in April after being closed for weeks during earlier conflict in the region. Authorities have not indicated how long operations will remain stable as tensions in the area continue to fluctuate. And finally, in the news outside the country, with reference to the Philippines, several foreign governments expressed sympathy after the 7.8 magnitude earthquake of Sarangani that killed at least 32 people and injured over 200. Japan Prime Minister Sanai Takeichi offered condolences and said Japan is ready to assist the Philippines in its response. The United States Embassy expressed sympathy and said it is prepared to support Philippine-led relief efforts. Canada also extended condolences and pledged coordination with local and international partners to meet humanitarian needs. Australia and several European countries, including Germany, France, and Czech Republic, sent messages of solidarity and support. That's the news at 12, June 10, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writers Naomi Ruth Hernandez and Elgio Lorejo. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. And our Provincial Information Office OIC, Marty Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor, Noel Irusal. I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.